In this video we will take a look at starting a fire with birch bark and a ferrocerium rod. We'll also take a look at how I process my firewood. Today was dry and sunny. It had been raining the day before, but there was still plenty of dry wood to be found. I'm taking a look at this fir or pine tree for fatwood. It's hard to tell due to the lack of needles and bark. Pine trees are typically the best for fatwood. Look for the clustered needles of 3 to 5. If the needles are single, it's likely a fir or spruce tree. It's a lot of work and time to harvest and process fatwood without an axe. I prefer birch bark as it's prolific in Scotland. It ignites whether it's wet or dry. You can dip it in water, take it out, give it a shake, ignite it with your lighter and it will burn. I came across some stumps here from the contractors who came in and dug out the drainage and left a trail of dead trees and stumps, so I'm quite happy to use them. Here I'm gathering the bark from a dead birch tree. This is a downy birch. It's pretty rotten and wet on the outside and the bark is damp. When you peel the bark off, it may come off with some inner bark. You can easily remove it with your knife or fingers. Now it's time to gather the firewood. I'm looking for dead fallen wood that is not touching the ground. Even though it's hanging, sometimes it will still be wet or rotten inside. You can check by snapping it. I will spin the camera around and take you to the fire area. Here I'm gathering more wood that's off the ground and dry. I'm gathering different thicknesses from matchstick size to pencils to markers to chunky markers and so on. Right, I think we've got enough wood to get the fire started. Let's go ahead and get the wood prepared. So we've got our matchsticks, and then we've got our pencils, and then we've got jumper pencils, and then we've got chunky markers, and over here we've got our kind of thicker wood. To get the fire going, you can use, you can cheat, and you can bring, you know, a fire kit with all your different bits and bobs. You know, you take your fire steel and boom, flame straight away. We've gathered some birch bark. It's damp. I've had it in my pocket for a little while. Not that that makes any difference. With enough heat, enough combustion, it'll go on fire anyway, especially with a lighter. We're not going to use a lighter today. What we've got here is a ferrocerium rod and a striker. You do get bigger ones. Get the bigger one if you can. It's a lot easier to start fires, especially when using natural material. Get your birch bark from earlier. I've had mine in my pocket for about maybe an hour, maybe less. Get a birch bark. We don't need to use all of this. We can maybe use 2 parts of it, so we maybe use that bit to get it started. It's damp, it's still a little bit damp, that's okay. And we'll use a couple of these bits. So say maybe 4 pieces, maybe a couple of little bits. And we'll put that back in our pocket, just in case we need it. Okay, so we're going to get our Tinder going on this. We need a stable platform. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get 2 random pieces and we're going to scrunch them up. Don't scrunch them to the point where, you know, there's nothing left of them, but you do want to break them up like that. And then you hold it together and use your ferrocerium rod to hold it and push down. Now this is going to take a while because we're using a smaller ferrocerium rod and we're slightly damp, but let's give it a go. Got a wind. At this point I'm using the striker to scrape some material off the ferrocerium rod into the pile. Just keep it there. Ferrocerium rods have a hardness scale. I went for the hardest one. It's harder to strike, but it will last longer. The softer ones wear down really fast, but are easier to use and produce more heat in molten globes. Okay, it does take a while to get going, but once it's gone it's going to burn. I'm going to start with the match size sticks, then work my way up the sizes as they burn. Make sure your pencils. You can do a Boy Scout fire at this point if you want. Make sure all the sticks are pointing upright. That's going to help them burn. And these are all the pencil sticks that we've prepared. And then on the outside we put the slightly thicker ones, just a couple of them. If we'll get any little sticks, get them on as well, because they always help the bigger ones burn. Let's move the camera. Hope you can see that alright. I'm a bit too impatient there. Just do one at a time. Be careful. Let's get a couple of big bits on, bigger bits in the burn direction. That'll get them going. Okay, we'll keep that aside. Keep this aside for the moment. Any sticks or debris that is kicking around the fire, just put it in. It's probably going to be some of the wood that you were preparing anyway. Right, so that's it, there's your fire. There's a little camp, don't you can see that. Oh, there we go, brightening up. It's a lovely wee camp, I love it. Met the farmer today that owns the fields. Nice fella. He hasn't got a problem with me walking on his fields to get to the camp. So that's a blessing. After rebooting the fire, I didn't stay long. I finished my coffee and packed up my bag. I did pour some water on the fire and made sure it was extinguished enough before leaving. This is my first video in quite a while. The production quality will hopefully get better, and I'm sorry you couldn't see the detail when striking the ferrocerium rod like a maniac. But sometimes in order to get the fire going, you need to scrape material from your ferrocerium rod into the pile. I look forward to the next day out and the next video. Bye.